Death, my friends, is a natural part of life, not an unidentified foreign object. Death, like health, is exposed to structural violence from society and from medicine. People and doctors are in need of death education. These are the three statements I will support in this speech. I have been a commuter between life and death for 7 years now, with recurring cancers in the bowel and in the lungs, chemotherapy, 5 major surgical operations. No, there are multiple metastases in both lungs, and I have cancelled all further treatment. Why? Because my no to further treatment is a yes to life in the death phase. Now, death, as I remember from the world of Plato, the ideal death requires 3 elements. 1, acceptance of death as a natural part of health and life. Death is an inborn fact of life and the final part of man's health. Ivan Illich defines health as, quote, the ability to adapt to a changing environment, to growing up and aging, to healing when damaged, to suffering, and to the peaceful expectation of death. So death has its own health, which should be recognized and cared for. The second element of ideal death is being commander-in-chief of your own death. Autonomy, personal freedom is in high esteem in our culture. Do it my way is a mantra. Why not until the end? I will die my way. I will, together with nature, perhaps God and my loved ones, rule in the last part of my life. The third element of ideal death, enjoying the bright sides of death. The last dance is not joyful, but not Armageddon either. Life together with death is a mixed pleasure. There are sorrows and dark matter, but not only these. The approach of death also brings new qualities to life. I have discovered 7 mortal joys. One, knowing that you will die destabilizes the zero vision of risk. You enter a state of profound peace and security. Furthermore, the moment of freedom arises in a strange way. The masks of duty and ambition vanish. And I find more courage to follow Shakespeare, to thine own self be true. Whereas Charlotte will say, regresses to the age of obstinacy. Another mortal joy, nature caresses me more. Love becomes stronger. My curiosity shifts to the mystery and the sacred, and more gratitude resides in me. Now, this peace agreement with death, based upon acceptance, autonomy, and the bright sides of dying, this ideal death is threatened by structural forces hidden within society and within medicine. Now, first, political violence against death. Capitalism is public enemy number one against health and against death. Our political and economical structures leads to alienation and the denial of death. Why? My hypothesis is that death challenges the fragile values upon which we build modern life. Death undermines the golden ideals of capitalist culture. Listen, the Olympic motto, higher, faster, stronger, is the ideal of our culture. To be productive, effective, competitive, creates the identity as a winner. Idealizing strength leads to contempt and fear of weakness. Death is the ultimate weakness. Furthermore, capitalist society seduces us to identify with things. I shop, therefore I am. Death robs you of your materialist persona and leaves you naked. Death reveals the emptiness of wealth. And then, you know, freedom of choice is a golden value. Death screams that the human power to choose is an illusion. Hubris rules in our scientific era. We bow to what Seal calls, quote, the grand narrative of scientific biomedicine, which offers technological intervention to transform chaotic nature into the experience of order and control, end quote. We live in a delusion of grandeur. Science is almighty. Human beings can design life, control nature, but then the true superpower, death, emerges and puts us back into our littleness, where we belong. We live on the catwalk of perfection. Death frightens us by claiming respect for defect. And finally, God is the tranquilizer of death. A dead God leaves man and death alone, sharing a terrifying pas de deux. I have now demonstrated the political forces that confine death within the prison of forbidden words and facts. The last enemy of the health of death is medicine. Humani nihil a me alienum puto, declared Hippocrates as a proud motto for doctors. Nothing human shall be strange to me, but death is. Medicine suffers from death intolerance. Medicine regards death as an inborn error of life. Physicians do not like peace agreement with death. They would rather declare war. Why? Because medicine's raison d'être is life. Medicine's imperative is to conquer death. Death is medicine's defeat. Therefore, death is hidden in the darkest room in the house of medicine. Therefore, physicians have never given priority to the health of death. Another reason for the neglect of death in medicine stems from doctors being humans. They suffer from the same fear of death as everyone else. And finally, doctors are educated in the iron cage of rationality. They are impatient with emotions, uncomfortable with uncertainty, blush with intimacy, tremble before the meeting with a unique, suffering human being, the dying patient. Approaching the end, how can we prevent structural violence against death? Is it mission impossible? Or can we write a prescription for death health? First, the commonplace. In society, we need a health education program for death, a death promotion initiative. We must realize that life, and included in life death, is the real thing, not Coca-Cola. Honest living implies honest dying. Life is a fake without death. So we need a truth commission to bring death back from taboo and denial and medicine back to life where it belongs. The modern delusion, life is a dream in Disneyland. In the modern delusion, life is a dream in Disneyland, death is exiled. Therefore, to promote death, we must also encourage tolerance for life as a dualistic project, pleasures and sorrows, victory and defeat, health, and finally death. So medicine. What can medicine do to resuscitate death? First and foremost, death should be regarded as an essential part of health. Consequently, medicine has an obligation to invest in research, teaching, skills, ethical competence in the clinical management of death. Contribute to a never-ending story of improved quality of death, as we have done so impressively with quality of life. Finally, doctors must be physicians with borders at the end of life. Doctors must be more courageous, frank and open in clarifying the limits of medicine and calibrate the turning point where the new goal is good death. This implies a shift of power from the doctor to the dying, from medicine to life, from molecules to the soul. Now, the end. Paul Farmer has an honorable title, the man who would cure the world. Doctors working day and night, but they will never find a cure for death. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 3, states, quote, "Everyone has the right to life," end quote. Today, with the votes of 2, Paul and Per, we approve a new article, quote, "Every man has the right to health and death without structural violence from society or medicine." Thank you.